You are a son of a bitch.
Un saluto a tutti.
What's up, Juventini? Welcome back to the AJC. Oh, it's match day, our favorite days. All right, December 30th. Let's finish off 2023 in style. We have a lot to talk about, all right? We're going to have a lot of fun today. I got Anthony, I got Omer, and no RB. No, it might be more Skanga telling off technology, all right? A little bit of difficulties here, but we're all good. We're all good.
Hey, computers. There you go. Boom. Jeez. This is not how I want to end the year, so hopefully we can I can fix everything tomorrow, right? Hopefully in the post-game show. I think we got something planned special for the post-game show. We won't tell everybody yet, but we'll see if we can pull it together.
Oh, yeah. They know where to be. And, nice little New Year's Eve morning show will be absolutely fantastic. Omer, my man, the tank is on. How are you doing, brother?
I'm good. Tank is always on, even in the winter, because it works, actually. This season, at least. Last season wasn't that good, but I'm all good. How are you guys? After Christmas and everything. Fatter, happier?
Yeah. Definitely ate a lot, drank a lot, had a good time. It was very, very chill. And, but I'm ready for getting back to business here and watching
I'm on
the
food
lads get out
detox
there.
for like 3 weeks. I'm just not eating.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
Happy
healthy.
New Year to all. Let's go. We got Don B coming in here. Ciao, guys. Let's get the 3 points today. Well, we got a lot to talk about, you know. You guys know where I stand. Everybody's been tuning into the channel, the shorts and everything, or even if you're watching on Instagram or TikTok, whatnot, about Serie A in general right now. And then you have the growth decree getting scrapped by the Italian government. And then you have the clause for 24-25 registration, no Super League. We'll get into that. We'll talk, obviously, about take a couple shots at some snakes that are rattled. Okay, yes, they're not rattled. They're not rattlesnakes. They're just snakes that are rattled, okay? Because Acerbi is an absolute clown. We're going to talk about that. We're going to have a lot of fun and, of course, preview Juventus and Roma. And it looks like the young gun, Yildiz, is set to be unleashed again today. We'll tackle all of it, okay? Real quick, you guys, in Italy, the government scraps, like we were talking about, the extension to February for the growth decree. Your thoughts on that, and then tie into it as well Serie A's decision, because they have no bearing on that decision. For anybody that might be confused or whatnot, that has nothing to do with the league. It affects them, but this is the Italian government that scrapped the growth decree, which is close to about half the tax savings on signings for players, is basic foreign players, is how it affects the league. But the league's decision was to insert the clause, which is no Super League for 24-25 registration. So, your guys' thoughts on that one? Everyone's heard mine.
Omer.
Yeah. So the first point is just, I don't know what to say. It's ridiculous, but it's not surprising. To act all surprised would be weird, because that's what they always do. They never go with the flow. They always try to shoot themselves in the foot and then blame whoever. I mean, a lot of people address this a lot around the Italian football world. I have no idea why does it really matter and why are they arguing about it. But either way you look at it, it hurts the Italian league, Italian teams. Allegri alluded to it and said that Juve are not that affected. The only one who has a salary that justifies getting the growth decree is Rabiot. And the rest are non-issue, but it is going to hurt other teams. But let's wait and see. The other thing, well, we'll get to it afterwards, because it might take a while to talk about it, all the Super League stuff.
Okay. Anth, your thoughts?
What do you get? Well, see, I don't know. I didn't read why the government cut it out. Right. Yeah. I didn't see it. Was there any sort of reason? We're talking about a bunch of nonni here who are running a government and haven't been able to keep the same government in power for more than 2 years since World War II. So when you're trying to make sense of the unsensible, then who knows? But I'm sure they had some sort of reason to take it out. Again, this isn't just for footballers. This is across the whole country. So, yeah, right. There you go. They need more money, right? So the money that companies are saving on taxes with foreign workers, probably more money
Is
that they
it
need in the coffers.
is it that simple? Just money? That's all there is to it?
Is there any other driving force with governments?
I don't know. I'm trying like to think to
Could it
know.
be stopping outsiders from coming in a bit more? Maybe, I don't know. I don't know.
No idea. That's above like football
Job
level. That's
opportunities
just
for more at home. I don't know what it is. I honestly don't know. And James kind of thinking the same as me. Maybe an immigration thing. That's what I would expect. On top
I think
of
it's bigger than
obviously
football.
the
It's bigger
money.
than football. Let's just put it that way.
No, but we're talking
Footballers are
about
affected.
people moving into Italy for jobs and everything too.
No, but I'm
And
saying the reason to cut it out is bigger than football.
oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Well, it has to
It's
be. It's a government making this decision. But I'm thinking it's going to be maybe an immigration thing. But again, I don't know.
could be.
Money for sure, but either way, it does affect the league. This is something that, and we talked about this a little bit yesterday with Leia and myself on the AJC times Bianconeri Zone show. I don't think Juve is going to be as hurt as obviously, everyone's making out and Lotito wants to come out and throw Juve's name in there to make, more impact, whatnot. But I actually do believe when Allegri, I feel the same way as when Allegri says Juve is going to be pretty serene about this thing. I do feel that way. We
yeah, because
have,
we have a good foundation to handle that. We're the only
yeah,
one with the next gen. We're like Juntoli is spreading salaries now for everyone. They're renewing under lower salaries, so it doesn't seem to be an issue for Juve. Because if the thing goes down and other teams have trouble signing players, Juve have where to go to. They have the pool of their own players, and based on all the names we're related to now, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds from Germany, from France, from wherever. They're looking to bring them in straight to the next gen, not to the first team. So the cycle seems to keep going on. I don't think it will affect Juve as much. Other teams might suffer from it a lot.
yeah.
I
The other
didn't.
thing
I
is
didn't.
too, Exor reported yesterday, it was reported that Exor is willing to take on the full capital increase up to just shy of 80 million euros. Calvo said a month and a half ago to our friend John in a meeting there that the cleanup's done this season. I think they've learned a massive lesson in terms of operations and the
Mhm.
business model. Juntoli is a whole different breed of, kind of more to that, closer to that Marotta style with a little bit more of a tendency going abroad than Marotta, which will be very interesting to see how it unfolds for Juventus. But I'm not really worried about it from our standpoint. Anth?
I just thought they mentioned that Rabiot's salary would be the one that, if there's any sort of issue with this, would be Rabiot's salary. Wouldn't Dusan's salary be affected by this as well? Because he's on
He's
a big
played in
salary.
Italy for a couple seasons before coming to us, and I think that helps. There's
Okay.
something there about, about his time. And I also thought that Rabiot was done on the growth decree anyways, after a certain period of time. Like, you don't qualify for it anymore after a certain amount of years. People can probably clarify that one. I don't spend a whole lot of time with this growth decree thing. It
Yeah.
pops up here and there on certain contracts and everything, but there are, I believe, time stipulations and rules about playing in Italy as to what players qualify and don't qualify. We can maybe even look it up real quick here while we go into the Super League side of things, guys. The clause there, there's mixed feelings about whether they can or can't do it, because you have some that are saying, well, no, they're their own federation, their own league federation, they can do it. And there's others that say, well, no, because you're part of the European Union and you're literally under FIFA's umbrella, so you cannot do it because it would tie into that FIFA/UEFA monopoly. I personally don't believe they can do it anyways, but I'm not necessarily worried about it either. But Super League
Yeah.
clause.
So there was the A22 ruling. We'll just call it that. The ruling in A22's favor last week. But I thought there was another one, or if it was part of that ruling, where it said federations can't punish teams for joining this Super League. and now the FIGC turns around and says that teams can't join this Super League. So there's something I'm not connecting the dots.
I
there
can't
somehow.
recall a one calling the federations being unable to do something. I can't recall that, but I would just assume it. I'm assuming tied into that that top European court ruling.
Yeah, so I would just say for Juventus and other teams in Serie A, just sign it. Just sign the document right now. This is going to go to court. Other teams are going to take this to court. By the time 24-25 rolls around, 25-26, when the Super League fires up, or 26-27, this will run its way through the court. So I would just say sign it. Don't rock the boat or anything. I saw something today that Consub now is investigating the Dragus and Cambiaso deal. Just stay under the radar, sign whatever, and then let the courts deal with it. But I'm all for the Super League, 100%. Well, yeah.
Omer?
Yeah, it doesn't sound legal, and we got to remember Gravina was appointed Schäferin's concubine or whatever. I have no idea, but he has some sort of role playing in UEFA right now. So it was expected that he is going to publish a statement or come out with new rules that prohibit clubs from joining. Sounds like, if it sounds like FIGC and walks like it, then it might be it. But it doesn't sound legal. It sounds contradictory to what the court said. The only ones who can do it are the EPL, because of Brexit, and they're not part of the UN, so they can do whatever they want. But if all goes through, then they'll have to play Champions League with teams from Bosnia and stuff. So I doubt they'll want that. I don't know. It was a pretty slam dunk. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not, super into the legality of everything, especially when it comes to the UN ruling. But it doesn't sound like anything that they can do. But Juve should, take their foot off the gas, not engage. We've been through hell with all that story now. Lay back. Let's not take the fight on ourselves, to start taking FIGC to court and see if we can or cannot do it. Someone will do it. De Laurentiis already said that he wants the Super League. So we'll have to wait. But it doesn't sound legal. And honestly, I hope it will eventually lead to all of them getting fired and replaced.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully. The going into that growth decree, by the way, it's even for Italians, but foreign players that resided abroad for 2 years and then came back into Italy, that's who qualifies for those. And then, yes, after a time period, I can't find the exact time period, they would obviously not be able to, the clubs would not be able to benefit for that anymore once they reside in Italy again. Now, getting to Super League and this thing, yeah, number one, I don't think they can actually do it. No. However, okay, we still, like, this thing, like I said, it's so far from over, and it's going to keep going back and forth and back and forth with these little jabs. Ceferin, Gravina is literally his lapdog. So whatever he wants done, whatever, he's going to do this. This is what he did, okay? Literally because of Ceferin. That's the only reason he did it. We know that, okay? Gravina's a mutt. He's an idiot. So he does this. The issue here is, do you believe, and this is what I'm asking everybody, do you believe UEFA did not approach clubs when this thing started to pick up steam, even at the first announcement, even though it was poorly handled and everything? Do you not think UEFA has done something under the table with certain clubs?
Oh, my God.
Oh, they definitely did.
100%.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Once you have Bayern, the Germans all stick together. Once you have Bayern, you have the German league. He's got PSG in his back pocket. You've got the French league. You've got he's got clubs in England, which I'm sure, same thing. When this thing first came out, he branched out and he said, look, you guys, and I guarantee you, he went under the table and, paid them, and they're handled to fight this thing. The problem is a lot of the teams that need this to benefit themselves, I don't think are in a position to actually fight it properly, And even where RB Comps here says that I don't think Juve would risk Serie A now that Agnelli is gone, they ain't joining that Super League. Some like the teams that need it, that would want to go in there, I don't think are prepared, are ready to take that fight. Inter can't. They're 800 million euros in debt. They're not fighting anything for a league.
No, they
You know,
absolutely not.
I appreciate Roma coming out and denouncing the Super League, but guys, like that means fuck all.
And
know,
Pescara,
like,
don't forget.
And Pescara.
Yeah, thank you, Pescara. The teams that I think this is going to be just a long, long road. The only thing for me is until more sponsors ramp up, because in the end of the day, money talks. There's a lot of money on the line for Super League. I think everybody's being really standoffish right now until they see. And if all of a sudden sponsors ramp up and everything goes up and up and up, it's going to reach a point where I think the Super League's so backed that teams can't say no to that money. And if UEFA was smart, and I've been saying this the whole time, they would have looked for some type of... They were looking to restructure the league anyways, the tournament. Like, why would you not partner up? You have another organization willing to come in with other sponsors that gives the clubs what they ultimately want, which is more money. You still get your money as an organizer. Everyone's happy, but they're too stupid and way too egotistical in how they operate and corrupt to figure that out.
Corrupt, that's it. The corruption is the main
They
thing.
want it all in-house. They are so close-minded. No. But I'm telling you, if they were smart, that's the route they would have done. Football would have had a true Super League. You could have had tiers. Teams would have been getting a lot of money. The English would be laughing because they would be even higher up. But beyond all of that, I think football needs a global cap, personally. You need to cap something on mercados and stuff.
And I see James here. Can't see them having sponsors with other streams. Like, listen, to Berto's point, once everything sort of gets laid out, once they lay everything out, this is the format, this is the money involved, sponsors will come. And who cares? They'll jump on with like ESPN or maybe Sky or something.
No, they actually promised a free streaming service for all the matches, at least for the first couple of seasons. They'll jump on with
some sort of streaming service to provide it in free or somehow. They'll figure out a way to get this thing going for 1 or 2 years to make it more available for everybody to watch, and then they'll start making it a pay to watch service like it is for Champions League. This thing is happening, and I would say I'm 95% confident Juventus joins it.
Oh, Juventus definitely joins it. Juventus would relish any opportunity to cut themselves away from UEFA without, getting hurt financially. Even the fact that 98%. No team can actually say what they want is an indictment to UEFA's monopoly and the fear of them. Just by saying you're interested in the Super League, you're putting yourself in danger, your club and everything. And Juventus is like the hallmark of everyone. Like, everyone will look what happened to Juventus when they were in the Super League. So no one would take that risk, and we shouldn't either. We were the only ones to actually pay, and get hurt by this whole Super League idea. They didn't do anything to Barcelona and Real Madrid. So it is corruption. It is everything. Like Berto said, money talks. In the end, the Super League will happen. I'm 98% sure it will.
98% sure it's going to happen, eh?
I'm with Omer there.
There's too much money involved to just let this thing slide.
Way too much money.
James has a good point about
it.
No streaming service, like the sponsors and stuff, but I believe the sponsors will come, man. There's just too much money there.
They know what they're doing. They know, like, they're not saying it just to say it. They're saying it because they know exactly what they're going to do and how they're going to make the money and who's going to sponsor it. They're not dumb. They know how to make money.
It's gonna be intense. Perez as well, like Florentino Perez, like this guy's not getting involved in Mickey Mouse shit, everybody. Like he's not, he's just,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like he's way too much of a boss to get involved in Mickey Mouse stuff. So yeah, there's something there. How long? I have no idea how long it's going to go, but it's going to go on for a while, and these are just little battles in a war. Now, we're going to shift focus to some of the Mercado news and everything. We know some of the names being thrown out there. Charlie Patino, I'm not buying. Okay, I'm not buying that one. Whatnot. We have Tony Cruz. Apparently, some sources saying Juve is a pro. I would love for Tony Cruz at 33 years old this summer to come in
What a player.
in
What
a
a player.
heartbeat. In a
Yeah.
heartbeat. 2-year contract. Okay, I'm flying over there. He can get a piggyback all the way to Turin from me. Okay, it's done. Tony Cruz, I would love it. Sudakov in the mix. Romano says Juve's still in the mix. There's a 35 million euro offer already on the table by another club. So I painted this picture for everybody because a lot of people are saying, there was a time we were all saying, maybe we just don't do absolutely anything and nothing happens. So again, I just feel like this season was planned for Juventus to not do anything. But based on results, based on where we're at, the fact that Fagioli and Pogba situations went down, I feel they're going to move. They're going to move. And I think they probably also have some internal factors where maybe they're realizing Miretti, and we'll get to Miretti in terms of the lineup today, another sign of him not being able to get in anymore. Alone, I think they're realizing some internal factors like he could benefit from a loan. I think if they pull the trigger on some of these names like Phillips or Højbjerg, it would have to be without obligation. Okay?
Correct.
That's the only way I see one of those guys coming in. But can we rule out a move like Sudakov for 35 million euros? I'm not going to say no. And the reason I'm not going to say no is because they're going to have a little bit of cash set aside. And if we remember to a couple months back when they were already anticipating something because of Fagioli and Pogba, they said they had around 15, maybe 20 that they could splurge. If you sell Illing Jr., you have enough to make a move on somebody. So I'm not going to say, no, that rules us out completely. And I was already stunned at some of these other transfers. Vlahovic, Bremer. I was stunned by even Zakaria when he came at the same time. I'm not going to rule it out completely. There's a possibility Juventus maybe gets a loan and a purchase. Samardzic is even cheaper.
But that was a different sporting director and a different management. I'll take the chance to just compliment Giuntoli and what he's done under the radar quietly. I really loved seeing the video of him before the match, standing there and congratulating each player before they go on to face Frosinone. And afterwards, that's what they said about him, that he's a guy who's keeping contacts with everyone, always talking to all the players, and maybe it has some bearing on where Juve are right now and the spirits in the team. So kudos to him so far. Is doing quietly well. And I've said it for a long time. You were definitely signing a midfielder. That's what I believe. 100% of signing a midfielder in January. I don't believe it will be like a high profile signing, nothing above 20 million. I don't see them doing that. But Fagioli and Pogba kind of rock the cradle a bit, and now they have to sign someone. And so yeah, I am seeing a signing. Who it is, I would love Samardzic because I think it's the cheapest operation. It's rumored Napoli are on him as well now. I think it came from Nicolas Skira, so it has to be.
That's sinking ship.
Yeah, but they do have money. Money to pay upfront right now, so that may tip the scale to their favor. Either way, Juve are signing a midfielder. They can go into the season. We didn't have Rabiot for one match, and we drew that match against Genoa. And if we lose someone else to an injury, that's 3 central midfielders. That's not enough for a Scudetto run.
Yeah. Well, let's say all things remain the same, what's your confidence level in the Scudetto? If all things remain the same as they are right now, percentage-wise, where are you at?
Look, I
No
look at this
injuries.
season. I look at the season like the first Conte season. I didn't believe in a Scudetto until like the 30 round. The 30th round was when I actually started really believing. So I'm not going that far. I'm waiting. Just it's not even January. Still not confident. A lot still needs to happen for other teams and for us. But I am super confident, 100%. We're in the top four and we're in Champions League next season. So that was the goal at the beginning of the season. I'm fine with it.
Give me a percentage on the Scudetto.
I don't have percentage on the Scudetto.
You're at 0.
100%.
Ant says 100. Okay, I'm not 100.
I'm still at 100%.
Or 0.
So let's go like this. I'm at 60, 65% with all things remaining the same. Mm-hmm. If we sign a Phillips or a Højbjerg, I'm at 60, 65%.
I'm at 50%.
If you sign a Sudakov, I would feel a lot better because it's literally everyone. We don't have a player like that on our team to play it out of that position. Samardzic, the same. I would feel a lot better. I'd feel a lot more confident in what we could accomplish out of the midfield. I would go up to close to 80, maybe 75%, 80%. There's still some doubts there because we've got to tip that scale a little further in the play. I think we can all admit that even whether we're happy with the results, those that are still on the pessimistic side, which is totally valid, I think, because we're not, not being comfy in a lot of victories and stuff like that. So I get that. And Inter, well, they don't even want to be the favorites, and Acerbi's a clown, and we all heard that. I absolutely love it. I was told that when I called it out, I put the video out. I'm sure you guys all saw it, and it's rent-free, baby, because we are. And then they said, no, you're like, they said, I'm living rent-free in their heads. And I go, they're like, you're making videos about it. I go, guys, I'm laughing at you guys. I'm laughing at you guys because you're fucking clowns. Okay, you got a player. If I was an Inter fan, okay, I'd need psychiatric help first and foremost, okay? And amongst many other things I'd need help with if I was an Inter fan. But I'd be embarrassed. I'd be embarrassed that Acerbi came out and said that, played Mercado Guru with the mental gymnastics that he was working to try and get the pressure off his side. Buddy, call it for what it is. You guys are favorites, okay? You've been called favorites. You've got the best roster. I don't care who spent what on what player. We purchased Chiesa 3 years ago. Why on earth are you talking about that? You want to bring up, you've only got free transfers? You spent like 90 million euros this Mercado. We spent 12 on Weah. What the hell are you talking about?
Hey, we spent 3 on Gonzalez. Don't forget that. So
he's trying to, push the pressure back. But at the end of the day, he's just being a little bitch. And that's all it is, all right? Barella saying they're scared when they play us. Lautaro saying they hate playing after us because of the pressure and whatnot. Acerbi now with this. They can't handle it. It is crucial for Juventus to keep this thing tight if we all want to believe in this Scudetto. Tony Trim, you're at a 97.5. You're barely behind Skanga here, but if we want to do that,
100%,
it is crucial to win today against Roma. Yes or no to that statement? It's crucial today.
Oh, 100%. It's like what the second or third time Inter drop points this season. We have to capitalize. Have to. No other options.
Yeah. So we're all on the same page. I said yesterday, have to capitalize 100%. I understand the fact that from 4 points to 5 points, it's still a 2-game margin and whatnot, but it's different. It's about up here and what's going on. They're giving us all the indications that they don't want us to be tight, and I love every single second of it, all right? Rent-free, baby, rent-free. The inferiority complex is real, everybody. Believe in that. Believe in that. Must win today from Tony Trim. I agree 100%. Now, when we look at this matchup, we got to get into it with Roma. I've been saying for a while, you look at Roma and where they are. We talked about them not too long ago, just in terms of teams we were worried about when, we were talking top 4. And I said, I haven't been scared of top 4 at all, ever. Going into the season, when the season started, never. You look at Roma, they had their worst start historically, Mourinho's worst start historically. Then they went on a tear there. And I will say Lukaku's done good for them, but they are dog shit on the road, everybody. 2 wins out of 8 on the road. Okay. I'm not sold on their midfield, not sold on their back line. And to be honest, just another unconvincing team in that mix from 3rd to like 8th, 9th even in Serie A. And I will say that. You might say we're unconvincing, and I just think we have a couple tweaks to make. They're unconvincing, and they're all out. Yeah, injuries, I get it, but
Suck it up.
Yeah, I just think that there's not much there. As far as this game, Ale and I were on separate sides there yesterday because he thinks it's going to be wide open. I don't think it's going to be wide open. I expect Roma to be the ones playing us the way they did Inter, which is really sitting back, and it's going to be up to Juve to kind of crack that. They're going to mirror us in a 3-5-2.
But that's Juve's kryptonite. Juve are doing well this season against teams who hold possession, but Mourinho and Allegri are sort of similar in their play style. They don't have a lot of technical ability and chance creation, so they rely heavily on counterattacks, mainly less ball possession, and Juve don't do well in these scenarios. But Roma is Roma. I mean, every season it's like a roller coaster of performances. You don't know what to expect. Away from home, they're horrible.
Yeah.
They're horrible. They have horrible stats. If we're counting, the away form, they're 10th in the league. We're 2nd. Like you said, 2 wins, 4 losses, and 2 draws. I mean, you don't know what Roma are going to get, play-wise, but they are very aggressive. Every game they try to get into the other team's head, and they did so with Napoli and got them, 2 players sent out. That's their bread and butter. That's what Mourinho likes best, the shithousery and all that type of game style. You even need to keep calm, especially the young guys. I mean, Mancini could drive Yildiz crazy today if he wants to. So Juve don't need to get dragged into it. So we'll get to talk about the lineup later, but that's, I think, one of the reasons why Miretti isn't playing today. And
we're going to get into Lime now because it kind of plays into what we expect out of this game. Because we talk about it, they're going to mirror us in 3-5-2. I think they're going to clamp down, and that's been a blueprint on how to make Juve struggle, is force them to break you down. In the middle of the pitch, I've said it. When you have Rabiot and McKennie share 2/3 of that midfield, there's not a lot of variance there. And this could be a game where you might want somebody with a little bit more flair there. It'd be a game where maybe you try Yildiz as an advanced player out of there. And maybe Chiesa can't start because he's not on that starting list. The probable lineup from Romeo Gresti is as follows. Szczesny, Gatti, Bremer, Danilo. Weah getting the start, the nod at right wing back. McKennie, Locatelli, Rabiot, Kostic on the left with Vlahovic and Yildiz up top. So,
Interesting.
It is interesting. I don't have really a big problem, even if we want to go Rabiot and McKennie, because there is a good point there from Tony Trim that this could be a very physical game when a team wants to clamp down and everything like that. So Max has always preferred a robust midfield. If you could find him a robust player that has technical abilities too, he'd be in heaven. But Weah's going to be having eyes on him too, because when he was fit, if you've got him from preseason to when the season began, the impact was drastically different from preseason to when the season began and everything. I know he's just come back from injury and whatnot, but we need this guy to use the tools he has. He's got blistering pace. He's very good technically. He's got to start showing it in games. This is going to be a big one for him because he's been behind everyone. He's been behind McKennie. He's been behind Cambiasso. He's got to figure it out. Kostic on the left side. How do you guys feel about Kostic on the?
He's got to start.
He has to start.
100% agree with him starting.
Yeah,
this is a game where you don't mess around with the starting lineup. Even with Yildiz, I have a question about that. Great player, but Mancini, that guy is a different beast. That guy plays like me and you, Berto. He kind of reminds me of maybe a player like me and you, just a shit disturber. He's a guy who's going to get into players' heads, and Kostic, I just don't think you can crack his skull. But I think he's going to give Yildiz a lot more problems. I would have started Chiesa if he's fully fit, just because he's more mature. But again, anything can happen. A team like this, a team disciplined with this type of manager on the other side, the more experience I can put out there, the better to start the match, to keep heads. Because you're right, they're going to try and get us into cards and all that shithousery, if you want to call it that. I prefer Kostic out there. No one else I'd start out there.
The only other option is Ealing, and he hasn't played enough to justify starting a must-win game. Kostic defensively has been solid for the better part of this season. If we are going to control the ball for most of the time, then we need someone who tracks back a lot and has an engine. That's our forte. We have some players who work like a player and a half. McKennie and Rabiot, that's what they're providing, playing both as wingers and central midfielders. They're helping the defensive phase, at least. Attacking wise, it's a different story. Another point is Roma tend to score late, like in the final 15 minutes. I think they're the first or maybe second team in Europe. They have the most goals after the 75th minute, and that's when Juve tend to drop down and invite pressure when we're leading. So I want to go into the 70th minute with 2-goal advantage. If we're going with 1-goal advantage, I'm not comfortable. I'm not feeling comfortable with it.
When it comes to Kostic, the points are being made. So Mark one here, Kostic might not be a goal scorer, but he is a reliable player who gives his utmost. James Lapierre saying Kostic didn't look great defensively last couple games, which I would agree with. However, is he better defensively than Illing Jr.? Absolutely. He's better defensively than Illing Jr. I'm okay with picking a side where you're going to focus a little bit more on basing things out, being a little more defensive minded, and having one where you're going to be a little bit more advanced and playing on the throttle, so to speak. I'm okay with that. If Weah's that guy, though, this game, which I would expect him to be, you got to show something, man. You got to really show something. So for me, eyes aren't so much on Kostic as they are Timothy Weah. So Timothy Weah is going to have to help recreate that right side that Cambiasso and McKennie were actually doing good things with. I personally think McKennie has done better this season as right wing back. However, with what's happening in the midfield, it makes sense with Cambiasso out to kind of try and work this avenue rather than going to Moretti, who's had his struggles this season after having a lot of opportunities. I don't think anyone can argue that Moretti hasn't had enough opportunities to make his stamp or make his mark. Yeah. Caviglia presents another option. As a Mezzala, we haven't seen it, but we have seen him come in for Locatelli. There are still some out there that say, maybe you try Caviglia again, and it's not even trying anymore because he's done it. The last game, he actually did outperform Locatelli.
He did.
But if you put him there, and maybe you try Locatelli to be the guy bringing an impact as the Mezzala. I personally don't think it's game-changing, but it's something to try. Would you do that in this game? I wouldn't have been scared to take that chance because Caviglia did it against tougher tests already, one of them being Inter. I would have had no fear in playing McKennie as your right wing back, putting Locatelli as your Mezzala, and having Caviglia as your regista.
Yeah, I was
Well,
going
I
to
think
suggest that if
if
there was one
Fajoli
change to
was
middle, that would be it.
available, yeah, if Fajoli was available, we wouldn't even be having this discussion. McKennie would have started on the right and any other midfielder.
Mhm.
But I'm not sold on Miretti playing this match. Based on the season, what we've seen from him, I mean, he is pretty soft.
Yeah,
And we've said
we
it.
literally said, I already said,
No
Miretti
worries.
is, no, he's had
Just
amp up
no.
too. We're talking
So
about
what?
Caviglia in there.
No.
Caviglia
No.
and using Locatelli as your Mezzala.
No, that's too much trying stuff we haven't tried yet. And this is like the last hurdle of the first round. Roma are the only like top 10 team we haven't played yet. After that, it gets pretty easy, relatively easy. And so go with what worked. I mean, what's been going on right now has worked great. That's why we're in second place. I don't think that's a good place to start trying and experimenting. We
But
have
we're
a Coppa
talking
Italia
about
soon.
playing a setup that has been our kryptonite a lot of the times.
Yeah, still.
Sometimes you can't go with what's the norm. And this is one of my few criticisms of Max this season is we are going into a mercado and we still technically could have looked for some more answers internally, I think. And I think there was matches there we could have done that and maybe tried. Hans, I have absolutely no fear in doing that. We did it against Inter. And
No, it's not playing Hans. It's playing Locatelli as a Mezzala.
yeah, but
Huh?
that's how you achieve that is with Hans there to get Locatelli as your
Yeah, that's the
Mezzala.
only
Are
option.
you telling
So
me you'd
I
have more
wouldn't try it.
faith? I would have more faith in Locatelli bringing an impact out of the middle in advanced opportunities than McKennie, hands down.
No, I have more faith in Wea actually providing something attacking wise, and I want to keep McKennie in the center.
Yeah, I don't have that
that's
faith in
my
Wea, man. I hope he proves me wrong today. I don't have that faith. But Ant,
Okay,
where are you
let's
on
make
this?
it
Would
interesting.
You have tried that against Roma?
Wait,
Go
let's
ahead,
make
Omer.
it interesting. If Wea does have an impact, what's at stake here for you or for me? If Wea does have an assist, something that he adds to the attack today and
I'm
make
all
us
out of
win.
bets, man. Okay, I'm waiting for these kits to arrive. I'm done, man. You're not getting a bet out of
No.
me. Take
No,
on
not a
Skanga there,
bet.
pal.
No, I'm not dealing with this mafia head here. I mean, the guy's heavily into
Whoa.
bets and stuff.
Whoa!
Whoa! What? I'm not getting
As
involved
far
with
as
you two. This shit throwing
Listen,
contest
I
you guys
said
have
I
going on
hope
over here.
I'm wrong. Okay, I hope I'm wrong. I think McKennie is better at the flank, a right wing back. Personally. And would you have any fear playing Hans Nicolussi Caviglia and Locatelli as a Mezzala?
No, I was actually going to suggest it before you brought up. If there was one change, one thing that we should trial in a player not playing in their regular position, I'd be more comfortable putting Locatelli in that advanced role because I know how good McKennie is when he plays outside versus when he plays on the inside. So, not to say he's having a bad season when he plays more internal. We've seen how good he is when he's out there, and I'd have more faith in Locatelli making an impact in that Mezzala role than what Miretti's shown.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. Now,
Yeah.
something that's come up too leading up to this game is starting to leak some goals. Again. Obviously, Danilo reintroduced whatever. I've made my statement that for me, Rugani, Bremer, Gatti is the best three we have. Personally. Does anybody share that and thinks we were just talking about if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And Omer said, go with what's gotten you there, what's been working. Danilo, a little shaky, I get it, coming back from injury. But if you're trying to play Gatti, it moves Danilo to where he has admittedly said he's not as comfortable on the left side. Should Rugani be getting more minutes and being that guy? I know people will argue the captaincy thing and whatnot, but I've felt better with Rugani, Bremer, and Gatti. Like I've just felt more confidence coming through when watching. Am I alone here, boys?
No, it's a tough
Well,
question. I don't have a clear cut answer because I'm still struggling with it in my head. I actually think Danilo did great against Napoli, and especially silencing Osimhen and Politano on his side. Against Genoa, well, whatever we can say that the goal came from just everyone fumbled the ball there, and we got a goal. We are leaking a bit, but I don't think it's just because Rugani is in there or isn't in there. I don't have an answer. I don't think there's a major difference between the both of them playing. So yeah, I would prefer Danilo right now. It's not to say that Rugani was bad, but I think the connection between the three of them with Danilo has been better.
yeah, I got to see when this back line changed because I'm just looking at the numbers here.
I
So we
think
ripped
Sandro
off.
is who broke it up first before
Stop it.
Danilo re-entered.
So we went
Sandro.
1,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5. We went 6 games straight with a clean sheet. So that's from Lecce to Fiorentina. And then in our last 6, we've only had 1 clean sheet.
Yeah.
In our last 6. So I don't know when. So,
It's the
but
aura,
we're not-
man. You can't land abroad like Michele Persico and not have an aura. It's Rugani, baby. Get him back. Let's go. She's a bombshell. Good for
I
him.
didn't know where you were going with that, but okay. Anyways,
It's the aura,
something has
man.
changed.
He's got the aura. Ruga.
We haven't given up more than 1 goal in those 6 games. So are we leaking goals? We've leaked a goal a game, but it's not like we're giving up multiple goals a game. So I don't know.
Look, also not we didn't have an easy string of games. I mean, we considered against Genoa, Inter drew there. They thrashed Roma 4-1 at home. It's not an easy venue to play at. They are having a good season at home. So Frosinone are scoring for fun. They just put 4 past Napoli and kicked them out of the Coppa Italia. I mean,
Whoopsies.
those were trickier games.
I think
And
I don't know, man.
I don't have an answer. I mean, both of them I'm fine with. I don't really
I
mind
have
the
no
start.
problems with Danilo. Everyone knows I've been fighting the fight for this guy for a while, like where he takes all this heat about captaincy, performances, stuff like that. I have no problems with Danilo, but it feels shaky lately. Like it's just I don't know. It didn't they didn't exude the same confidence that I was getting from, and it's crazy to say this, but a huge compliment to Rugani, but Rugani, Bremer, and Gatti it looked good. It made sense. It was clean. The only thing I knocked them for was ball progression. And for that, Danilo, I will say, is way better than all 3 of them for at least the ball progression. But even that wasn't enough. Well,
we haven't been doing anything with progression anyway.
If I'm playing Danilo, personally, it's not on the left and it's not for Rugani. It's to change up Gatti occasionally and keep him on his strong side and he could still progress the ball. But I don't want Gatti's kind of growth and development to kind of be hurt either. So it's kind of this thing where it's a good problem, okay? But if you're asking me to choose your 1A, my 1A is Rugani, Bremer, and Gatti. That's all I'm saying.
We said this a lot last year and at the beginning of this year. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Unfortunately, the broke part was your captain having to be sacrificed for the other 3 to play. I'm sort of with you on this one. We're both big Danilo guys.
Yeah.
I'm more on the whatever keeps Sandro out of the lineup. I'm fine with.
Let's get well. Hey, to that, amen. Now, there's one that goes even a step further. We take this even a step further, and that is Danilo. Some fans have said to play ahead of the 3-man defense in that role Locatelli operates as. To try and help the midfield and get him outside more. And I said, why are we trying to reinvent the wheel? You could do that with Hans or Locatelli. So for me, that's just a no in playing Danilo there.
He can play there in a pinch.
Yeah, a big pinch.
Right. If needed, Luca's out, Hans has to be moved or whatever. Late in the game, someone gets injured, you got to put somebody in that spot. We've seen it, and he had a couple good performances. I think it was last year where he played in that spot in a pinch. He played there in a pinch.
Yeah.
That's not a regular.
No,
stuff.
it actually happened first under Pirlo was the first one to try it. I wasn't convinced. I don't think that's because it moves other players out of position as well, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm not going for that. That's a pinch. That's a big time pinch too. But I'd go to 2-man pivot to avoid that pinch. Also, way before. I'd also go to 2-man pivot now. But Animesh, we are undefeated under Rabiot's captaincy. Coincidence, you guys, or Rabiot effect?
No, just the opponents.
I don't think the captaincy has anything to do with it.
It's
I've
the opponents.
taking some heat. A little bit of heat, not as much as, Inter fans might have given me this morning after a Cherby, that fucking loser. But I said Rabiot for me is nowhere near last season. And I think that I think he has been inconsistent even in this season. And I think that Monza game is the Rabiot I am looking for because we know he can do it. But I don't see that impact enough. So, you guys, do you feel that same way, or do you think he has been as strong as the majority of the fan base feel this season? I don't think we can argue with him helping our midfielder and being one of our best midfielders based on all individual performances put together and their impacts, whatnot. Obviously, he's been important to us. But from his performance standpoint, I seem to be left expecting more, especially after last season. And not numbers, not even just talking stats, just
I'm talking stats.
my feeling about his performances. Am I alone, or are you guys kind of with me?
Just high level, when you look at the past 17 games, now we played a lot more games last year, so by this point, because of Champions League, I would say last year, if you want to take the goals out of it, he was much more of a contributor in games, and after games, we had him on either the man of the match list or, notable mentions for man of the match. I can't remember the last time he was on one of our lists for that. Maybe once this year. Not to say that he's been the worst performer that we've had on the pitch. I wouldn't even go close to saying that. But in terms of impact, he's not. Again, someone says, he's providing a lot defensively, but that's what we have Locatelli there for. We need Rabiot to provide more going forward, and he's just not producing. Got to produce out of that position.
Omer,
you gotta remember how bad the team looked like last season. Maybe it was just a case of a thorn in the desert. Every thorn in the desert is a rose. Maybe just Rabiot was the thorn that in the Juve desert that was 22-23. But I don't feel like he's been bad by any stretch of the imagination this season. Maybe he can contribute a little more in attack, but the goals are coming, and we are winning, and we are second place with 40 points at this stage. Okay, the stat is that it happened 7 times, and each time Juve won the Scudetto. When we had 40 points at this stage, 3 or 4 of them were under max. So I can't really fault him for anything if Juve are doing great. I think he's done his job.
I think
maybe
if I look at games, if I look at games for him, it's like the Monza one stands out as like just unreal game from him. You've got probably Lecce and Lazio, where he was standout, and probably, I'd probably say those ones. Outside of that, I think it's been good still. And again, when you're factoring in the rest of the midfield, nobody's arguing that he's not crucial to our midfield.
He needs to start.
Yeah, yes. He has to start. But
he has to start, no question.
That's still not really, for me, just telling the whole story. I think he's capable of those games, those 4 games, 3 games I called, doing that more consistently. Like, it's one thing to say, yeah, he's a must start. That's looking at the group and everybody else. But it's another thing when a guy's shown levels higher than he's brought in the majority of the games this season to ask for that level. That's not calling him out. That's not hating on the guy for now all of a sudden Rabiot's got a clan that's getting a little sensitive. That's just calling it for what it is. I got
a question for you.
I expect consistency from our top guys, our key guys, all our players.
Need it.
I expect consistency. He's got to bring it. He's got to bring it.
That's the thing. That's the thing. We've been critical to our best players, and right now Rabiot is one of them. We've been asking more from Dusan and from Chiesa as well, and Rabiot is one of the 3 players that we want to see more from. We didn't have high expectations for McKennie, so we're surprised he's doing well. And that's the thing. Eventually, we've placed him now higher. He's higher ranked in our heads, so we expect more. Last season was actually a surprise. We didn't expect him. We actually tore him down in the seasons prior. So now he's up there, and we expect more. But if we come into this season and he's been performing the way he does, but we didn't have last season, like straight out of after 2020, 2021, then I'd say he's been overperforming. Just to the standards of last season, he hasn't been better than what he was. But Juve are, and that's the tricky part. I think we consider him now top 3, and that's why we expect more every week.
Okay, before we get into the predictions, I got a quick one for you guys. Now both these players are crucial to us. They both have to start. But who has left you wanting more often? Locatelli or Rabiot?
Locatelli.
Locatelli probably.
On average, who have you said, man, he just didn't have it today, or I needed more for him today? I think it's Locatelli. I'd agree with that.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Because again, and I've said it, when he came back from that Azzurri run, where he had that great showing for the Azzurri, backed it up with a match for us, you haven't seen that again. He can do it. We know he can. He showed it. He just doesn't, and I have no friggin' idea why. But
just had a kid, maybe staying up late. Maybe he's got to do the night shift.
Oh, that's the worst, man. Oh,
he had a baby, right, in October or something.
Oh yeah, Papa Luca.
Yeah.
Oh, those first couple months, man. It is.
Got to deal with it, man. You're at Juve. Fuck babies.
Look, he's a lot less mobile than Rabiot is on the pitch, and other teams know that he's like the connecting factor between everyone, so they are marking him harder than they are marking Rabiot. It's maybe tougher for him now because he's like the go-to guy in Juve attacks, and when we have possession of the ball, so maybe harder for him, but I do expect a bit more.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And he can do it. He's shown it. And this is the same thing with Rabiot. He's shown it.
But again, it's not to say he was bad. He wasn't bad. It's not to say Locatelli didn't have good performances. He's doing defensively. He's doing a phenomenal job.
Oh, yeah.
Again, it's the attacking phase where we're lacking something. That's why we look to these players to do something more.
If you take one phase out of both of those players, though, and argue who's doing it better, who's doing better defensively, Rabiot or Locatelli?
I think Locatelli.
I would say Locatelli.
Yeah.
Who's doing better offensively? Well, a lot of us say, based on how we play, moving Metsalas forward and bombing them up and trying to go through them, breaking the lines, why are we rating Locatelli for that? And that's where it gets interesting, right? But for individual performances, more often, obviously, Rabiot is not the one we're looking for a lot more. But I am still wanting more. Locatelli, I think, is capable of much more than we see. And after 3 years, I don't want to hear it's not his position. I'd love to see him in a two-man pivot, like everybody praised him for his days with Sassuolo. But it is what it is. After 3 years, if you gave me a paintbrush and said, here, become a painter after 3 years, I'd be better painting than I was the first fucking year. I'll tell you that much. So anyways, is what it is. Guys, get the likes up. Prediction challenge. Final score, 2 tiebreakers.
And storm the barn. Start get your questions.
Well, yeah, storm the barn after. We got time. Everybody knows about
Yeah.
that. Genoa bullied our midfield without Rabiot. Yes.
Okay,
Rabiot
while
must
everyone's
play
getting
for
their
us.
predictions in, I can give you some
Rabiot
numbers
must
to help.
play for us. Nobody is saying not to play Rabiot.
Yeah,
The
take it easy,
French will live on in our midfield.
Let me give you some numbers while everyone gets their predictions in. You ready? Ready for some numbers?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
To help
always
you guys
ready.
out. Okay. So the referee today is Simone Zoza. He's done 43 Serie B matches and 37 Serie A matches. So we got, he's already a hot mess. In those 37 Serie A matches, he's given 7 yellow cards, 11 PKs. He averages about 5 yellow cards per game in his work. He's worked Europa League group matches and Conference League matches. The last game he did for us was last April, was the Bologna 1-1 draw in Bologna. Doesn't have a lot of Serie A work, so just keep that in mind. Some other numbers. In the last 10 games, Juventus has scored first. And in our 17 games, we've done it 14 times. 14 of 17, we've scored first. We're unbeaten in our last 12. You guys mentioned it earlier. Roma away stinks. 2 wins, 2 draws, 4 losses. In those 8 games, they have 9 goals for, 12 against on the road. If that helps.
So I'm going to go ahead. Wait, he averages 5 yellow cards.
4.95 yellow cards per game. When he works.
Okay, just an interesting stat. Roma had a yellow card like every 10 minutes against Napoli. I think except from the 70th minute to the 80th, they had a yellow card. That's the way they play. And Napoli ended with 2 red cards. So, yeah, we are going to see a lot of yellow cards in this match. My prediction would be 2-1 Juve.
Okay.
I'm with an Imesh here. I think a red card is definitely coming today.
So that's only happened in one of our games, was the Milan game. So not common for our games.
No, but Roma will make it happen. Even Mourinho, can get a red card. Higher chances he gets a red card than any other player on the pitch.
One more tiebreaker, Omer.
So I had a red card definitely, and let's go with goal scorers. I think. Okay, Yildiz gets another one today, and McKennie gets one today.
All right. Anth, you want to take second spot or you want me to?
You're goddamn right I'm taking second spot. So I am also going with the 2-1 kicker. That's at, I got that at, what did I get that at? Plus, what's 2-1? Plus 900 correct score, 2-1. Over 2.5 goals is plus 176. If anyone puts any money on that. I'm taking both Dusan. Okay. If Yildiz starts, I'm taking Dusan and Yildiz to score. If Chiesa starts, I'm taking Dusan and Chiesa. So whoever starts, I'm taking both strikers to score. Can I do that?
No. Pick.
Oh, you son of a bitch. Whoever's starting. Okay, I'm taking Chiesa to score. Dusan and Chiesa. You fuck. So I've come. This is an actual bet I made. I have Juve halftime, which they've been in the lead the last 2 games at halftime. So that's plus 80 on its plus 180 on its own. But I'm taking both teams to score. Juve win at halftime. Putting those together for plus 464. So that's another bet. So Juve halftime winner. That's one of my other predictions. And then each team to have 4+ corner kicks at plus 145. Another prop bet that if anyone wants to put some chicoria on it, 3+ goals, 3+ yellow cards, 6+ corners total is plus 220.
All right.
There you go.
Let's take a look here. Hard's coming in here. 1-0 Juve. Piss poor game. I will get those important 3 points. Yeah. All right. Tony Trim.
About right.
2-1 Juve. Dybala goal. Oy. Vlahovic and Rabiot for Juve. 5 total yellows today. 1-0 with Danilo being the goal scorer from Adam. All right. And then 1-0 with Rabiot. Let's go. Let's get the Rabiot in there. Love it. I'm going to go 3-1 today, everybody, for Juventus.
Whoa. I don't even have that written down.
3-1 for Juventus.
Today, by the way.
What?
Sold out stadium, by the way.
Juve is going to be 2-0 up at the half. Okay, so that's another one, 2-0 half.
Yes.
Roma will score, making it 2-1. Okay? And then Juve kills it late for 3-1. And I will say 1 goal in this game will be through a PK. There will be a PK in this game. And I will say, I'm going to just go with a crazy tiebreaker. My man of the match in this one, because all you guys that just feel that, I'm too hard and trying to get overprotective, it is going to be Adrien Rabiot today as man of the match. And I will also say he scores 1 of the 3 goals for Juventus today. Rabiot, goal scorer and man of the match coming up. There you go. Predictions locked in. Everybody else, keep firing yours if you got them. We do have time for some Storm the Barn. I see one that's in there. There's another one coming in here. We got 2-1. Gatti and McKennie. There you go. Not a lot calling out for the guys up top. So let's try and get them firing. Would love Ant's prediction of another Yildiz goal if he does get the start, or even if he comes on as a sub.
I took Chiesa, you son of a bitch.
Let's go.
You made me take one.
Take it easy. Hey.
Forced me.
Hey, I've called Rabiot as pre-match man of the match probably about 3 times this season. Dommy boy, take it easy. Now, there's no bandwagons here. I give shit to players and praise players equally. Sometimes I protect some.
I only have one.
Sometimes I protect them like they're my own little buddy here. But it's okay.
I don't have an agenda. I hate everyone equally.
Sometimes I protect. Sometimes get here, you little fucking bastard. You're good. All right. Let's go. Is the incidence of monarchism higher amongst Metrista? Oh, yes. Beautiful. Omer. Fucking James Lapierre. Love it. And take a look at this bad boy.
What happened?
James Lapierre there.
Oh. You guys are a piece of work.
We love it. Nice work. Great work. Listen, their fans, though, I just absolutely love it. I love every second of it. Let's keep the pressure on. We said it. This one's got to be it's got to be a victory today. We can't afford any slip-ups if we want to get serious about those title hopes. Things are going to ramp up for them as well in Champions League. They're finally having to start to test that depth. And there you go. Genoa, I will say, though, a stubborn customer as of late, starting to pick things up. We got a couple matches going. Oh, my God. Can we please take a second to enjoy the dynasty? Oh my God. Like,
for the what?
My Who? God. One night stands are longer than Napoli's dynasty, for fuck's sakes.
It's true.
Look, anyone, I don't know who the guy is who just threw the word in of dynasty during Napoli.
Oh, I got it right here.
Season.
I do.
Okay.
I know who it is.
I don't know if you want to call him out or not, but he did some
I'd love to.
Immeasurable damage to
I already have on this show.
Man, more than De Laurentiis did, actually. No, but that's their own doing. De Laurentiis just fumbled the ball heavily.
I'll just show it on the screen here, but it was Daniel Bone who runs a Napoli podcast, and you see there, hashtag dynasty. He said, we are all just going to have to get used to it because it's only the beginning. Oh, you simple little fool.
but
What
I
a little
didn't get a
simpleton
chance to
you
get
are.
used to it.
Oh
So
my
hyped.
God.
I've been
You know
I've been
what?
searching for that tweet for ages. I could
We
not remember who it was.
The rest
Yeah.
of Serie A fucked up. You guys took advantage of it, but my God, to think you were going to go on into a dynasty. Oh my God, how unaware can you be of your history? You have gone back to where you belong. Okay? And again, one night stands last longer than Napoli's dynasty because one night stands are actually real. Your dynasty is non-existent. You want to talk about dynasties? Yeah, we had one, but it was downplayed. You know what? But I am enjoying it. I am enjoying every second of the Napoli downfall. Oh my God, I love it. And what's the issue now? You got Kvaratskhelia coming back down to earth. Maybe just a one season. Is he a Krasic? Another Milos Krasic?
Oh my God.
No,
No one's
no.
Krasic. No. Come on.
Oh, you guys. I love it. You know, now the discipline is completely leaving this side. Oh my God. It's just hilarious. For years we had to hear them pipe up and talk about being our rivals. You're not our fucking rivals. Like, you're not. It's another game for us in the schedule. You never have been, you never will. You're just not a rival. That's what makes it so fucking funny. You're just not. You're not a rival. So Chihuahua's gonna Chihuahua.
No, the best thing about it is that they've done it to themselves, completely
Correct.
to themselves. That's like no one's at fault here except De Laurentiis and his outrage. I mean, have you seen his interview with Tuttosport? What a horrendous interview! Just one nonsense after the other. Now, yesterday he said that the fault is on him, but a week ago he blamed everyone except himself. Lost Spalletti, lost Giuntoli, sold Kim, brought no one. They had this Spanish guy who eventually moved to Saudi Arabia. Like, everything fell down in a month.
Yeah, it's just the whole thing's
They
hilarious.
didn't miss a chance to laugh at us because of all the points deduction and everything. So we're not going to let up.
I say this all the time. Respect is earned, not given. And for all these people that still want to somehow believe you need to support the other clubs in Italy, no. They don't waste a second to laugh at any of our misfortunes or something that happens. Fuck that.
Why would somebody support another team? That one I have never understood. Oh, when they're in Europe. No. When they're in Europe, no. Like, what? Why?
We go out, they make
Why?
defos about it, for fuck's sakes. They make defos about us when we go out. And you want me to support? There are some that go as far to celebrate Italian team goals in your... What? No. For me, the season's over when Juve's out. Period.
The only line that gets crossed is when that player plays for the national team. Then it, whatever.
These guys
cheering for their club.
These guys are getting it. Tony Trim, Mark 1. Let's go, baby. Amici di nessuno, baby. Us against the world, and we would have it no other way.
Spending time on FIFA. Too many people growing up with FIFA in their lives.
Storm the barn. What do you think of Charlie Patino if he joins?
No idea.
He is not going to be any use for us this season. Yesterday, he started following Juventus on social media. And we know Ant has time for Juventus, and that's literally it. So
is this guy a TV chef celebrity? Who is this guy?
Charlie Patino, youth product Arsenal and whatnot. Highly touted young player.
Have no idea
I said earlier on the show, I believe nothing about the Patino rumors at all. But for the sake of the question and the hypothetical, if he joins, he's not going to be any use for us this season. Yes and no, but probably no.
Is he related to Rick Pitino?
So...
Uncle Bad Touch?
Uncle Bad Touch?
Rick Pitino. Loves him some waitresses. Anyways, go ahead, Omer.
Not your uncle.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Anyway,
I do
somebody in the
watch.
group chat will get it.
I do watch a
Uncle
lot of
Ricky?
football. I do watch a lot of
It's you,
football,
Roberto.
but I don't have time for Arsenal chicks. Just sorry, I don't watch them. I have no idea who
Good
this
job,
guy
Omer.
is. Never heard his name in the past. So I have zero to add to this discussion. He sounds tasty.
Finally,
I
it's
mean,
not
that
just
sounds
me.
like a good
Love it.
Italian dish. Come on,
Promising young
Arsenal
kid, but
babies.
I agree with Mark. It would be a move. Nothing's really gonna happen here. James giving you props there, Anth, on the Patino there, and we got a nice signing with Adzic though. Okay, there's another young. Juve continues to just pile up this young talent for next gen and everything, and honestly, that's fantastic. Absolutely love it. We got Andrew coming in here, my man.
Woohoo.
Welcome to the show. Better late than never. You know what they say. We got to take it to Roma today. But, yeah, these young guys, we're going to keep stockpiling that talent, and it's paying dividends
Load 'em
already.
up.
Could you imagine where we would be without them over the past couple seasons? They've come in clutch, to be honest. But I always say, Miretti, these guys, etc., if they're struggling or not, the bigger thing for me is the consistency out of the key guys, and the key guys being those guys. Chiesa, Vlahovic, Rabiot, Locatelli, Danilo. These guys have to be the key guys for us. That's the bigger thing for me than going at young guys. So Miretti, send him on loan. I think he'll do great, and then we'll look at it and review later on. Bremer
It's a
gets
win-win.
his contract extension. Beautiful.
Perfect.
Nothing
Love
like
Bremer.
that.
Great
man.
video by the club, by the way. Awesome video.
Also-
released by the
Dude.
club.
Yeah,
Genius.
Talk about throwing a little subtle shade out there with emptying
wasn't
your
subtle.
pockets. Oh,
That was
proper
not
banter
subtle.
there. Yeah, that was great. Great banter.
man,
from
I
the
just
Juve
love it when
admin.
the club gets that little bit of spice to them through the admin there, and when they do shit like
You
that,
know,
I love it. We're the
shout
biggest.
That's
out.
what
we're the
happens
fattest.
when you get a Canadian guy running the marketing. He throws out
Yes.
the good.
There you
Shout
go.
out
job,
to
Mark.
Juve's, content creator on YouTube. He posts a lot of awesome videos. I love the training videos, the quizzes behind the stage. Great work. Yeah, Bremer, that's massive. Just imagine if he would have signed for Inter that summer and wouldn't have hijacked this deal.
That was what made it that much better. But the
Yeah.
Bremer signing, bringing the annual cost down a little over 2 million as well, so helps the cause. His salary stays the same. If you're looking at his value, we've purchased him still. It's all in for 41 million euros. He is well above that already. It's just great. Even if, like I said, maybe later on somebody wants him and he's willing, they still got to pay up. And it's just all positives in that one. Bremer's an absolute unit, a beast. He had a great interview where he was talking about Chiellini and really studying his game and trying to model that. Love it. Absolutely love it. Now,
And what's the Ligt been doing since then?
yeah, nothing. Riding the pine,
have
getting
no
minutes
idea.
here and there, not really standing out. And there are a lot of talks about transfers out of Bayern.
I would take. I'm kidding, but I would take him back in a heartbeat to this setup
For free?
for whatever. Yeah, if he wants to come for
whatever.
free. No, I'm
I'd
not
even question
spending.
taking him back for free.
No, I would
I
take him
think-
back. I still think he has a lot of talent in him.
I think there's a lot to be said about. We got into it, Ale and myself, on yesterday's show about the price tag Juve looks at and being these big signings. Can you say
No,
any
it's
of
not going
them?
to happen.
Can you say any of them really panned out? Like, we're top drawer. Like, even Higuain was balling for what, a couple of years?
He panned out.
Yeah, 2 years. Yeah, and what killed him was Ronaldo's signing. But we can say Ronaldo has done well, at least on a personal level. 100 goals in 3 seasons. I mean, that's massive either way you look at it.
I will always
Juve
be on
as
the
a
side
club
that
didn't do as well.
Bipita was solid. Like, I won't argue his time, his contributions, but did the financial dividends kind of come from that? I don't really know. I don't really know the
80
Delict
million,
one.
90.
But we had
90,
money,
yeah, it was like
and that
91 or something. The
that
Delict
was
one, I would
actually
say no.
killing. No, the leaked one, no.
He didn't
But it was
even we didn't even
actually
sell him
killing
for the
Napoli.
same value that we purchased, so he didn't even maintain the value of when we sold. The Ronaldo one, Ronaldo did his job, but it fucked Juve
Oh,
financially.
completely sank the ship.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that was those 3
Yeah,
years.
but
I was talking about this over Christmas with my
COVID was
nephew.
unexpected.
That was awesome. Having him in the
Yeah.
lineup was awesome. Stop.
Oh,
If
remember
anyone
that
says,
day?
"Oh, it was bad for the club," it was terrible for the club. But anytime that son of a bitch was on the field, you felt like we were in the game.
Yeah.
Anyone who says the opposite, you're fooling yourself. It was awesome having that guy on the field.
Hey,
Stop
whoa.
it.
Take it easy. Put the gun down, by the way. Jesus.
Yeah.
I think I have Higuain on the wall. Well, I do.
No,
Hey.
but okay. I'd argue Pjanic was a good signing that paid dividends. Both are, the teams who were competing with us were both Napoli and Roma, and we took their two best players in the same summer. That's what made the Higuain signing a lot better. He also
Did
used to score against
Pjanic
Napoli.
pan out?
Pjanic,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But in general, what I was getting out of this discussion is I've been saying it for a year now or something. Like, Juve's got to go back to 40, 45 mil being their splash.
Agreed.
Yeah. I
Because
think
then it doesn't hurt you so bad if it's not like, but these fucking high ticket it's just not for us. We can't
You're
get
not
involved
at
in that
fault here.
game. You know?
Every club suffers from it, overspending, and players not living up to their price tags. That's a
Yeah.
disease across football in general. That's not a Juve thing.
40, 45, even if you spend, it doesn't pan out, you're still closer
Yeah.
to that guy's actual value.
Yeah. Everyone who wants more than 45 for like a youngster or their players, goodbye. We're not the ones to deal with you.
Yeah.
Go talk to
I think
Man United.
Yildiz is,
They'd
before we
offer
get to this
80.
question, Yildiz is showing that, right? You can find youngsters, you can find, diamonds in the rough, right? That you got to start digging around that's what Juve has to do now. They have to get back to digging around the rough, trying to find those gems.
I'm going to be curious with Tognozzi, who's gone to Granada to be their sporting director, how strong our scouting remains. Because he's had a crazy run for a while now.
That was
for young
Mirko's guy.
talents.
Mirko Di Natale's guy. Yeah.
It's going to be very, very interesting to see. Last one we're going to wrap up on, and I'm going to remind everybody, yes, there is a live watch-along today for Juventus Roma, all right? So come join me. We'll be on about 20 minutes before kickoff, getting hyped up, and then I'll call the action. I hope to see you all there. Dragusin is proving to be a very good defender. We lost another asset. I wish him well for scoring against Inter. How do we feel about the Dragusin? I know it seems to be this thing where we always, players do something after they leave us or something, and it's like, oh my God, we should have kept him. We should have never got rid of him and whatnot. How do you guys feel about the Dragusin situation? Omar,
I'm more upset that. Oh, go
sorry,
ahead. I'll
Ant,
start.
go.
I'm more upset that my coffee cup is empty than I am that we sold Dragusin.
Shit, mine.
There
Who
you
gives
go.
a shit?
Yeah, I mean
Oh.
that's another example of just players needing minutes to play. Would he have gotten them at Juve? No, so
No.
he wouldn't be as good as he is today. So it doesn't really matter if he stayed or not.
Does
He
not
wouldn't
matter
have
one
played
bit.
anyway. I'm glad for him that he's doing great. They're going to sell him
I'm
to
not.
Tottenham apparently for 30 million. I'm glad for him because he did score against Inter. He is playing well, but like it's not like a Romero type of deal that he didn't even get a chance to play, and Atalanta sold him for I don't know how much, 60, 70 million. So no,
He'd be
no
our
hard
sixth
feelings there.
choice right now. Right? Is
Yeah.
he starting over any of our defenders? Maybe Sandro.
He came.
Yeah.
What?
fine.
So I'm just trying to get into this. Was it
do need more
21,
coffee,
20, or 22?
I think he played under Pirlo a bit.
Yes, he did.
1920,
Yeah.
sorry? 1920 season?
He's been gone for a
No.
while.
2021 when we sold him last season.
No, I know that. I'm just trying to figure out when he did get those. Yeah, so it would have been Pirlo's
2021.
2020-21 season, right?
Yeah.
So at the time, Delict's in there. You still have Chiellini around. We had Bonucci. Demiral was there at the time. Then you had Dragusin. And again,
Danilo
was there as well,
yeah.
playing as wing back and right back and everything, but not at center back at the moment. But
can't get hung up on these past sales.
Chiellini at the time, even Bonucci, Demiral, Delict, it wasn't looking good for minutes for him. So you send him out on loan, and I will remind everybody, the loan spell was brutal for Dragusin. It was not a good loan spell.
We also had to sell Romero at that time because he had no place in the team. So yeah, Dragusin less so.
Yeah, I mean, if it works out, it works out. We can maybe say that we shouldn't have done it now that's playing out, but at the time, it is what it is. If it makes sense at the time, that's all you can really go with. In the grand scheme of things, I think at Juve, we've done a pretty good job. I mean, I can't think of many I actually regret, and even if Dragusin goes on to do good things, I still probably wouldn't regret it based on making sense of it at the time. I still, to this day, probably feel like the only one I can really say, oh man, is probably Kingsley Coleman. But that's it.
There's going to be another one soon. Get ready when we sell Sule, kids. He's getting sold.
You think Sule's getting sold?
100%. Because he's
100%.
Oh yeah, because he's the only one that we can offload next summer for 20-30 million to bring in help in the midfield.
Oh,
I don't want to see him go. I think he's gonna turn into a great player. But I think in terms of business, he's the only one of value that the team's gonna offload.
100%. So I believe he will. 100%. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he got sold, but I don't know if I'm at 100%.
In my mind, it's already done. I've already come to
an interesting stat about him that we posted today on Twitter or X or whatever. He's the youngest player to score 7 goals or more, aside from Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham is the only player younger than him who scored more than 7 goals. And his dribbling stats, I think he's second or third in Europe in general. Maybe a little lower than that. Maybe
make it 75 million.
Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we can easily sell him for 40, 45 to an EPL club. They'll dish it out without thinking twice.
Listen, we're sellers first, kids. Understand that we are sellers first before we're buyers.
I don't know if I'm at 100%, but I don't think I'd go as far as Mark saying he's not getting sold. I don't feel that. But I'm kind of with Animesh here, and I've been saying this for a while. I think we get a big sale, and I would not be surprised if Dusan goes. Is what it is, but I would probably...
Next summer is going to be fun, man. It's going to be a great summer.
I said yesterday it's going to be a wild one. There's going to be a big shift at Juventus in a lot of different areas too. Business, but pitch as well. And somebody's going to have to be there's going to be some sales, but with Dusan, comes down to the interest. And the funny thing is the rumors come up again about Chelsea, and that imagine that saga ends up all over again. Lukaku, Vlahovic swap. I'm still a no. I'm just not a fan of Lukaku. Who
do you think is going to have more interest, Sule or Dusan? Who do you think gets more interest on the market?
At the price tag, Sule.
Sule.
At the price tag, Sule. 100%.
That's right.
Yeah.
Come on, everybody.
Anthony, son of a bitch, you might be onto something. So
we're barely halfway through the season, so let's wait and see. If Dusan has a great season, he's not going anywhere. Not for less than 75.
Well, if he fires it up over the second half, then maybe they can move it. And again, while some would feel like, hey, he's got it rolling now we keep him now all is good. Well, that could give them the incentive if the interest ramps up, if he finishes strong, to save face on the numbers and the deal. Yeah. His salary is the killer, everybody. It's that salary.
But you are trying to renew him and spread it out to make it lower.
Yeah, he doesn't want to do it.
Yet.
I don't blame him either.
No, I don't blame him.
I don't blame him either. Like, it pushed the bonuses to the back end, spread it out. It's like, I don't blame Dusan. But it is.
Last question.
Show me the money.
It is an
Last
issue, though.
question.
We'll have to see what happens. Moise Kean.
Big game today. Come on, big game.
I don't believe Moise Kean's going anywhere
going
this winter.
No.
These rumors all of a sudden, no.
Yeah, Miracle tweeted
Stomach's
about it
temperature.
today. Keane and Miretti are not going anywhere this winter. As of now, maybe things will change, but as of now, there's no interest. They're not being sold. I have a last question for you.
Okay, last one.
Yeah, gotta make it quick.
Is Dushan and Chiesa a thing?
Like romantically?
What?
I don't know.
What are you talking about?
Is that like a thing, Dushan Chiesa, the partnership up top, or is it just something that we hope would happen, but hasn't happened yet?
Like putting a square peg in a round hole, the two just never fit. Those two just never fit together.
No, just I don't see anything connecting the two of them playing up top. To just enjoy
Connecting.
and to say they have some sort of chemistry and no, this talking stuff. No, you know, you know what I'm talking about.
I do.
Oh, this is epic. Okay, I do understand what you're saying, but for me, out of all the pairings you can have up top there, they do try at least to hit one another and try
They do try, yeah.
They try
Yeah.
to, connect on the pitch and play with one
It was working at the beginning of the year.
Ah.
They were on fire at the beginning of the year. Yeah, I think it can happen.
It's
I think they can dock.
they try to, connect on the pitch. Okay. But I will say this, moving forward, I believe Yildiz needs to be the substitute for Chiesa, and those two need to interchange. Let Milik, Keane, and Vlahovic rotate for the other forward spot. And I think we'll be making more progress with this team. There's no need to ever play Vlahovic and Milik or Vlahovic and Keane or Keane and Milik. We already...
Only if we move to a pivot. And then if they have someone behind them, Yildiz or Chiesa, then I would go with two strikers.
Then I would
up top.
accept it, but I'm still saying Chiesa takes one of those spots. So for me, let those three strikers rotate amongst one of the spots. Let Chiesa and Yildiz rotate amongst the other. We may have Yildiz starting today. We have to see what happens, everybody. It looks like he is going to get another start. Live watch along 20 minutes before kickoff. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share the content. I'm pumped up for this one. The predictions are in. Let's see what happens. Till later on today, as always, fino alla fine, forza Juve. Let's keep the pressure on those chumps up top. Let's go, everybody. Take care and talk to you in a couple hours. Ciao.
Set the tone.
Yeah.